Hi, my name is Cicely Crislip.
And I'm Rachel Pepperman. Today we'll be discussing and exploring what brain lateralization is and the split brain procedure.
Let's start by understanding brain lateralization and how it works before a split brain procedure. Rachel, when you think about brain lateralization, what comes to mind for you?
Well, Cicely, lateral by definition means relating to the sides of an object or to sideways movement. This alone tells me that brain lateralization is about how there's a movement and communication between the two hemispheres of the brain.
That's a great base layer of understanding. To start out, it's important for us to understand that each hemisphere has a specialized set of skills. The division of skills and tasks lets us have more complex behaviors and skills. The right brain is responsible for control of the body's left side, music and rhythm, emotion, facial recognition, holistic thought, and spatial orientation. The left side is responsible for control of the body's right side, language, reasoning, logical thinking, and mathematical skills. Some scientists have even said that some people are more right-brained than left-brained, or vice versa.
This is not true. Both sides are nearly always involved in all tasks. The two sides, though separate, are always communicating together. How do the two sides communicate? Well, between the two hemispheres, there's a thick bundle of fibers called commissures that connect them. The corpus callosum is the largest commissure and is made up of a bundle of nerves that facilitates the communication between the two hemispheres.
Now that we have that down, let's move right along to the split brain procedure. The split brain procedure is when the corpus callosum is actually severed, either completely or just partially.
Split brain syndrome is essentially when there are several neurological abnormalities in the brain caused by partial or full severing of the corpus callosum. You're probably wondering, why the heck would anyone want to have this done?
Surprisingly enough, this is one of the only solutions for alleviating severe epilepsy. Epilepsy is a disease characterized by uncontrollable, violent, and frequent seizures. These seizures spread from one hemisphere to the other. And by severing the corpus callosum, it prevents the spread of these seizures between the hemispheres and therefore can really improve the quality of life for the patients.
Split brain syndrome can also occur due to more natural causes as well. This would include damage to the corpus callosum, such as stroke, tumor, ruptured artery, and so on.
There are many distinct symptoms of the split brain syndrome. To preface these symptoms, let's discuss what stays intact after corpus callosum. All tasks that require both sides of the body and were previously learned, such as walking or biking, remain intact. Eye movement also remains coordinated. On the other hand, patients with split brain syndrome have difficulty with speech and object recognition.
There are specific tasks that split brain patients have difficulty with as well. For instance, when a split brain patient is shown simple mathematical problems with solutions in either their left visual field or right visual fields, the patient's left hemisphere is much better at identifying whether or not the presented solution is correct or a lure. This experiment shows that calculation is a specialty of the left hemisphere in the brain.
When blindfolded, a split brain patient may not be able to name a familiar object that is held in the left hand because information for the sense of touch is relayed from the left side of the body to the right hemisphere, which typically has weak language center. Without an intact corpus callosum, a person cannot access verbal information in the left hemisphere as long as the object remains in the left hand. Take this experiment for example. When shown a picture of a spoon on the left and a fork on the right, the split brain patient is first asked to say what he sees. Because the verbal response is controlled by the left hemisphere of the brain, which is associated with the right visual field, he will respond that he sees a fork. But when he is asked to pick up the object that he sees, he will pick up the spoon out of the objects placed in front of him because the left hand is controlled by the right hemisphere that also deals with visual information on the left-hand side.
Split brain patients have helped researchers learn many things about the two hemispheres in the brain. And studies are being conducted to help clear up some of the confusion about which hemisphere does what. In one study, researchers examined whether or not split brain patients have a dominant hemisphere, be it right or left, when it comes to imitating hand and head gestures and finger configurations. We often take this ability to be able to see a gesture and then imitate it for granted. Research has found that it's a key part of human development and is correlated with learning in motor and communication skills. It turns out that both hemispheres are able to perfectly imitate gestures, and so imitation is not hemisphere specific. Hope all that information about brain lateralization and split brain patients was interesting to you guys.
Good luck on exams!